The world today feels like it's shaking. Wars, confusion, corruption, and systems tightening their grip on the people. But Rastafari has spoken about these times from long ago. The scriptures already warned, and Rasta reasoning makes it clear: Babylon cannot last. Jah's judgment is moving through the earth, Zion is rising, and prophecy is unfolding right before our eyes. These are not just rumors. These are the signs of the end times. Every empire in history, no matter how mighty it seemed, has faced its downfall. Egypt, Rome, Babylon of old, they all crumbled when their wickedness grew too great. Rastafari teaches that the same fate awaits the modern Babylon system. Today, many see Babylon as strong, unshakable, and full of benefits. It gives us technology, easy living, fast systems of trade, comfort, and entertainment. People say, "Look, it is convenient. Life is smoother, easier." But Rastafari warns that this is the glitter of deception, a golden chain wrapping around the soul. The book of Revelation gives a clear word: Babylon the Great is fallen, and has become the habitation of devils. Revelation 18 verse 2. Babylon thrives on money, greed, war, and corruption. It enslaves the people through economic systems, traps them with the love of material gain, and blinds them with false idols. The prophet Isaiah spoke of this when he said, "Woe unto them that join house to house, that lay field to field, till there be no place." Isaiah 5 verse 8. The rich build endlessly, while the poor suffer endlessly. This is the mark of Babylon. Rastafari does not only look at Babylon as a nation or city, but as a world system of oppression. Colonialism, slavery, exploitation, and the present global order all fall under that name. And prophecy shows clearly that it cannot last. Just as Pharaoh could not hold down the children of Israel forever, Babylon cannot hold Jah's people forever. When we look at today's signs, the wars, the financial instability, the pollution of the earth, we see the cracks in Babylon's walls. The empire is shaking, though many still trust it. The scriptures reason, "For in 1 hour so great riches is come to naught." Revelation 18 verse 17. Babylon looks permanent, but Jah's fire will burn it down in a moment. For Rastafari, chanting down Babylon is not only about words, but about a way of life. To live outside the system of lies, to refuse its corruption, to stand in truth, that is how one prepares for its fall. Because when Babylon collapses, those who trusted it will mourn, but those who lived in righteousness will rejoice. The psalmist declared, "Fret not thyself because of evildoers, for they shall soon be cut down like the grass." Psalm 37 verses 1-2. Rastafari holds on to that promise. Babylon, no matter how strong it looks today, is already condemned by prophecy. The end times mean its fall is certain. When the prophets of old spoke about the last days, they never spoke only of destruction, they spoke of judgment. And judgment means separation, light from darkness, truth from lies, righteousness from wickedness. Rastafari holds firm that Jah, the Almighty, sits upon the throne as judge. His judgment is not delayed. It is already unfolding in the earth. The book of Psalms declares, "God is the judge, he putteth down one, and setteth up another." Psalm 75 verse 7. That means nations rise and nations fall according to Jah's will. Babylon's fall is not chance, but divine order. The judgment of Jah is not hidden. Look at the earth today: floods, earthquakes, fires, pestilences, confusion of nations, corruption of leaders. These are not random accidents. Rastafari sees them as the hand of Jah moving to cleanse the earth. Christ himself spoke it plain. "For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famines, and pestilences, and earthquakes, in diverse places." Matthew 24 verse 7. These words line up exactly with the times we see. But Jah's judgment is not just outward signs, it is also inward. In these end times, hearts are tested. Who do you trust? Babylon or the Most High? Who do you serve? The system of greed or the livity of righteousness? The book of Joel gives a vision: multitudes, multitudes in the valley of decision. For the day of the Lord is near. Joel 3 verse 14. That is where humanity stands now, in the valley of decision. Each soul must choose its way. For Rastafari, judgment is also about truth being revealed. Lies cannot stand forever. The colonizers told the people that Africa was cursed, that Jah was a white god, that the oppressed were meant to serve forever. But truth comes forward in these last days. Jah's judgment exposes the false teachings, the wicked governments, the corrupt religions. This is why Revelation declares, the books were opened, and another book was opened, which is the book of life, and the dead were judged. Revelation 20 verse 12. Every secret thing shall be revealed, every work weighed. In Rastafari's sight, Jah's judgment is not something to fear if one lives in truth. The wicked fear because they know their deeds are against righteousness. But the children of Zion stand strong, because judgment means liberation for them. When Pharaoh's army drowned in the Red Sea, it was destruction for Egypt, but freedom for Israel. So it will be again. Isaiah gave the word, for the Lord hath a day of vengeance, and a year of recompenses for the cause of Zion. Isaiah 34 verse 8. Jah's judgment is not random fire, it is justice, long awaited. The cries of the oppressed, the blood of the enslaved, the tears of the poor all call out to Jah. And in the end, Jah answers. So, while Babylon trembles at the signs, Rastafari rejoices. Because Jah's judgment is not only the tearing down of wickedness, it is the rising up of righteousness. The end times are not only the end of something corrupt, but the beginning of something pure. Every kingdom must have a king, and every prophecy must have its fulfillment. In the vision of Rastafari, the end times are marked by the revelation of the King of Kings, Lord of Lords, conquering Lion of the tribe of Judah, His Imperial Majesty, Emperor Haile Selassie I. The Bible already declared it. The Lion of the tribe of Judah, the root of David, hath prevailed. Revelation 5 verse 5. For Rastas, this was fulfilled in 1930, when Selassie I was crowned with titles that came straight out of the book of Revelation. Some doubt, some question, but prophecy does not miss. Christ himself said, "Ye shall know them by their fruits." Matthew 7 verse 16. Look at the works of Haile Selassie I, defender of the poor, restorer of dignity to Africa, voice of justice in the League of Nations when the world was blind to Ethiopia's suffering. These fruits bear witness. For Rastafari, the king is not just a man of history, but a divine figure whose role shines even brighter in the end times. Many religions wait for a Messiah to come, but Rastafari testifies that the king has already manifested. Just as Christ came humbly to Jerusalem and was rejected by many, Selassie I came to the world stage and was ignored by Babylon. Yet the scriptures remind us, the stone which the builders refused is become the headstone of the corner. Psalm 118 verse 22. The rejected king is the cornerstone of Jah's kingdom. But what does this mean for the end times? It means that the presence of Haile Selassie I is not bound by flesh alone. His life, his words, his example continue to guide Jah's people. Rastafari teaches that the spirit of the king is eternal, and in the final judgment, his truth will be revealed to every nation. Revelation promises, "Behold, he cometh with clouds, and every eye shall see him." Revelation 1 verse 7. For Rastas, this is not only about a physical return, but about the universal recognition of his divinity. In these last days, many kings, presidents, and rulers fall. Their power is temporary, their authority crumbles with time. But the King of Kings remains. He is the fulfillment of the Davidic promise spoken in 2 Samuel 7 verse 16. Thy throne shall be established forever. The throne of Selassie I is not just a throne of Ethiopia, but the eternal throne of righteousness. So when Rastafari speaks of the return of the king, it is not only a prophecy of tomorrow but a reality already living today. Every Rasta who chants the name of Haile Selassie I, every soul that rejects Babylon and walks in truth, is part of the king's revelation. The end times are when the world will no longer be able to deny it. The king is not coming to be voted in by Babylon, but to be revealed by Jah's judgment. As Paul wrote, "For he must reign, till he hath put all enemies under his feet." 1 Corinthians 15 verse 25. Babylon shall be crushed, and Zion shall be exalted. The king is already here. The end times only bring forth his glory for all to see. From the earliest days of Rastafari, Ethiopia has stood as a beacon, the land of prophecy, the symbol of Zion, the spiritual mother of all Jah's children scattered across the earth. In the end times, Rastafari sees Ethiopia not as a small country on a map, but as a sign of Africa's rise and the restoration of divine order. The psalmist gave the word long ago. Princes shall come out of Egypt. Ethiopia shall soon stretch out her hands unto God. Psalm 68, verse 31. That scripture is one of the pillars of Rastafari prophecy, and Rastas see its fulfillment in this time of awakening. For centuries, Africa was enslaved, colonized, mocked, and reduced by Babylon. The world called it the Dark Continent, but prophecy called it Zion. The prophets knew that the very land Babylon despised would become the spiritual center of the new age. In these end times, as Babylon's empire weakens, Africa is rising, not only in resources, not only in nations claiming independence, but in spiritual strength. Rastafari testifies that the children of the diaspora are turning their eyes back to the motherland, longing for Zion, yearning for home. The Bible speaks often of a gathering in the last days. And it shall come to pass in the last days, that the mountain of the Lord's house shall be established, and all nations shall flow unto it. Isaiah 2 verse 2. For Rastas, that mountain is Ethiopia, the spiritual center where Jah's authority is recognized. Selassie I himself reminded the world of Ethiopia's prophetic role when he stood in defense of his people against Mussolini's invasion. Though the world turned its back, Jah did not. That survival of Ethiopia in the face of Babylon's war is proof that prophecy is living. But Zion is more than just land. Zion is a state of consciousness, a way of life. Babylon is confusion, oppression, and lies, but Zion is truth, freedom, and unity. In the end times, Rastas see the people of Jah leaving Babylon, not always physically, but spiritually, and dwelling in Zion. Revelation paints the picture of the new order. And I saw a new heaven and a new earth, for the first heaven and the first earth were passed away. Revelation 21 verse 1. This is the vision of Zion fulfilled. Ethiopia also carries the bloodline of David and Solomon through the lineage of Haile Selassie. This connection roots Rastafari prophecy in Scripture. The Queen of Sheba's visit to Solomon, 1 Kings 10, was not just history but the beginning of a divine covenant that echoes into the last days. In the end times, this heritage is revealed as proof that Jah's throne is not European, not Roman, but Ethiopian, African. When Zion rises, the order of the world shifts. The oppressed are lifted, the scattered are gathered, and the truth once trampled becomes the foundation. Babylon cannot understand it, because Babylon thinks in terms of money and power. But Rastafari knows it is a spiritual victory. The prophet Micah declared, "In that day, saith the Lord, will I assemble her that halteth, and I will make her that was cast far off a strong nation." Micah 4 verses 6-7. That is Zion's promise, the rejected ones becoming the chosen. So, in the end times, while Babylon trembles at its fall, Rastafari rejoices at Zion's rise. Ethiopia is not just a nation. It is the symbol of restoration, the home of Jah's throne, the fulfillment of prophecy, and the light for all nations seeking righteousness. When Christ's disciples asked him, "What shall be the sign of thy coming, and of the end of the world?" Matthew 24 verse 3, he did not leave them without answer. He spoke of wars, pestilences, earthquakes, betrayal, false prophets, and the love of many growing cold. Rastas see these signs alive and clear in today's world. Babylon covers it up with news cycles and entertainment, but the prophecies are unfolding before our eyes. Look around. Wars spreading across nations, weapons of mass destruction on every side. Nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom. Matthew 24 verse 7. Climate change and disasters shaking the very earth. Floods in one place, fire in another. Famines, not because food is lacking, but because greed and corruption block the hungry from eating. Systems of control growing tighter, moving towards cashless societies and digital chains. These are not accidents. These are the very signs the scriptures warned of. But Rastafari does not stop at the signs of destruction, for the signs also point to awakening. People everywhere are questioning Babylon's lies. The young are searching for truth. The oppressed are rising in consciousness. and many are returning to African identity and livity. Christ gave another sign. And this gospel of the kingdom shall be preached in all the world for a witness unto all nations, and then shall the end come. Matthew 24 verse 14. Rastas see this happening as the truth of Jah, the message of Selassie, and the chant of Zion spread across the earth, not through Babylon's religions, but through living testimony. In Revelation, John speaks of a chosen remnant, and I heard the number of them which were sealed, and there were sealed 144,000. Revelation 7 verse 4. Rastafari often holds this as a symbol of the faithful, the ones who stand firm in the livity of righteousness, not bowing to Babylon's system, but walking with Jah in spirit and truth. Whether the number is literal or symbolic, the message is clear. Jah has a people preserved in these last days. So what is the call of the righteous? It is to come out of Babylon. Revelation 18 verse 4 declares, "Come out of her, my people, that ye be not partakers of her sins, and that ye receive not of her plagues." Rastafari takes this seriously, not always by fleeing the city or the country, but by refusing Babylon's mindset, rejecting its corruption, and choosing the livity of truth. To chant down Babylon with works of righteousness, with Ital living, with words sound and power. The call of the righteous is also to stand without fear. Rastas do not tremble at the end times, because the end for Babylon is the beginning for Zion. Jah's people know that the storm comes before the sunrise. The wicked may panic, but the righteous give thanks, for Jah's kingdom is at hand. The psalmist sings, "God is our refuge and strength, a very present help in trouble. Therefore will not we fear, though the earth be removed." Psalm 46 verses 1-2. So the signs of the end are not curses for the faithful. They are reminders to stay awake, to hold the faith, to keep chanting down Babylon, and to live in the light of Jah. The end times are a test, but they are also a promise. And Rastafari knows, Jah will never forsake his people. The righteous shall stand, Babylon shall fall, and Zion shall rise everlasting. So, brethren and sistren, what does Rastafari say about the end times? It is not a story of fear, but of truth. Babylon, the system of oppression, greed, and lies, is falling before our very eyes. Jah's judgment is not delayed. The signs are here, written in the earth, written in the nations, written in the hearts of the people. The return of the king, Haile Selassie, is not only history but prophecy revealed, for the conquering lion of Judah stands eternal. Ethiopia, Zion, Africa, long rejected, long despised, is rising as the light for all nations. The end times are not the end for Jah's children. They are the beginning of something higher, purer, everlasting. The wicked tremble, but the righteous stand firm. For Jah has promised, "Fear not, little flock, for it is your Father's good pleasure to give you the kingdom." Luke 12 verse 32. That is the destiny of Zion. So now is the call, do not sleep in Babylon's comfort. Do not trust in her riches, for they are fading like dust. Do not bow to her systems, for they are chains upon the soul. Instead, rise in livity. Walk in truth. Live it'll chant down Babylon with your works, your words, and your way of life. These times are a test, but also a blessing, because they separate the false from the real. The end times are a reminder that Jah's kingdom is sure. Babylon may boast, but Jah reigns. Babylon may threaten, but Zion prevails. Babylon may rise high, but Jah's hand will dash it down in a moment. The psalmist spoke it, "The Lord reigneth, let the earth rejoice." Psalm 97 verse 1. If you are hearing these words today, it is not by accident. Jah is calling you to stand in truth, to rise with Zion, and to prepare for the new day. The question is not when the end will come. The question is, where will you stand when it does? So I call upon you, I family, to walk with strength, to live with consciousness, and to trust in Jah through all things. And if this word has strengthened you, if it has opened your eyes or lifted your spirit, then stay with Zion Way. Subscribe, share the message, and keep reasoning with us as we bring forward more truths of Rastafari. For in these times, every word of light matters. Every spark of truth is fire against Babylon. Stand strong, family. The end of Babylon is the rise of Zion. Give thanks and praises to the Most High Jah Rastafari. Do you also want me to prepare the video description around 3,000 characters with Rasta flow, emojis, and tags, like we usually do for Zionway uploads?